Matt here from the Sunday Plodcast and Sports Shoes. It's a big year for the athletes, therefore there is lots of exciting launches coming up. We are here with the ASICS METASPEED SKY Paris in hand. Let's take a look. The ASICS METASPEED SKY Paris is here. We have got our hands on it. First impressions. Love the colorway, by the way, nice bright colorway, but also it's the upper. They've changed it a little bit from the previous editions. They've taken inspiration from the spikes and gone with that motion wrap 2.0. Big changes on it. It's just super breathable and it just locks the foot down a little bit better as well. There's less movement in there. Also the upper, excited to try out the FF Turbo Plus midsole. Gonna get some K repeats done at sort of 5K, 10K effort, so I'll feedback on that. But the biggest thing, it's fresh out of the box, is the weight of the shoe. 22 grams lighter than the previous edition. I'm sure you're gonna notice that in your running. So let's go, give it a test and give you more feedback in a sec. Okay, fresh off a few K repeats up here in Leicester, and first impressions, you almost forget that you're actually wearing a shoe altogether. It fits true to size, so no need to worry about that at all. Get your usual size, but the new upper just really locks your foot down, and not only that, under 200 grams for a carbon racer is just fantastic. So it is super, super light. That's in a UK 8. But also the grip on the outsole, I was very impressed. I was a little bit concerned because it didn't look like they made any tweaks to it, any changes, but actually fresh out the box, it was very grippy and almost a little bit sticky as well, each stride, until I kind of got into my running. So quite impressed with that. And altogether breathable, absolutely no worries, no hot spots, nothing like that, but also very, very fast. The foam is a little bit softer than perhaps the previous model, and I think that gives for, again, what ASICS were looking for is that vertical propulsion and lengthening your stride a little bit. So I'd agree with that, but all round, very, very impressed. Let's get into the tech then. So there are three major upgrades to the METASPEED SKY Paris that you can look forward to. One is the upper. I mentioned about just completely locking your foot down. That's exactly what ASICS are going for. It's the Motion Wrap 2.0, so it's taken inspiration from their spike. So it's quite different to previous models, but as you can see, it's just super, super breathable, and it's just very comfortable as well, and completely locks your foot down. So I was a big fan of the new upper. Let's move on to the midsole then. They've got the FF Turbo Plus midsole, and in fact, the carbon plate as well. They've just played around with that a little bit. They've widened the carbon plate just to help with taking a bit more impact, taking a bit more compression to allow you to kind of propel upwards a little bit more and lengthen that stride. So again, I noticed that a little bit. I mentioned it just being slightly softer and just taking a little bit more impact, which I think is going to be a big plus when you're talking about running over the longer distances, your half marathons, your marathons as well. Under 200 grams, it's 22 grams lighter than its previous model. It comes in at 183 grams. Stack height then, 39.5 mil at the back, 34.5 mil at the forefoot, so you've got a 5 mil drop as well. So they are your kind of key changes and key features if you want to get techie with the METASPEED SKY Paris edition. Now time to compare between the two shoes, the METASPEED SKY Paris and the METASPEED Edge Paris. What's different, you might ask? Well, they're both pretty much the same shoe. The upper is the same, the Motion Wrap 2.0. The weight is virtually the same, 2 gram differential there. But where they differ is the carbon plate. And I mentioned before how the METASPEED SKY has a wider carbon plate. That is due to kind of compress, take impact a little more and propel you upwards. Okay, they'll both lengthen your stride, but the Edge, where that differs is the carbon plate curves up a little bit at the forefoot here. It's a little bit narrower, curves up at the end, and that's due to kind of propel you forward. Again, will do the same thing and lengthen your stride, but it will just propel you forward, encourage you to have a slightly higher cadence. So if you are someone who wants a little bit more height, a little bit more vertical with each stride, a little more bounce, then you probably want to go for the METASPEED Sky. If you're someone who wants to have that quicker cadence and perhaps you're operating over shorter distances, running 5Ks and 10Ks, then maybe you want to look at getting the METASPEED Edge. That's my personal opinion. I am someone who, over a distance, I do want a little more bounce. I want the shoe to take a little bit more impact and not be quite as aggressive. So I would probably lean towards the METASPEED Sky, my personal preference of the two, but that's more down to my kind of form and style as well. So there your kind of big differences between the shoe. Other than that, again, stack height's exactly the same between the two, 35.5 mil in the heel, 34.5 mil in the forefoot, so that 5 mil drop. Well, there you have it, ASICS most lightweight performance shoe yet. Going to be available on the 4th of March at SportsShoes.com, and continue to like, subscribe and follow the channel for more shoe reviews.